In the headlines, Christopher Hunt speaks candidly on his recent run-in with the law. The island's top cop opens up about what really transpired during the arrest of Christopher Hunt. And the government's alleged affiliation with an online political action committee group is being questioned. All this and more coming up in tonight's broadcast.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovelace and Amy Joseph.
Good evening. It is Tuesday, the 16th of June, 2020. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News Edition on Flow Channel 117, Kiss FM, and our Caribbean Hot FM mobile app. I'm Rochelle Gonzalez. Thank you for joining us. Our cameras caught up with TV personality Christopher Hunt as he surrendered his travel documents, an action required under the conditions of his recent release from police custody on bail. Hunt shed some light on his stay at Custody Suites and called for more equality in the justice system. He claims law enforcement is picking their battles when addressing chargeable offenses guided by state of emergency, mask and social distancing protocols.
TV personality Christopher Hunt has been charged by the police and released from Custody Suites as of Monday, June 15th. He had been detained since Sunday afternoon on suspicion of organizing and leading an unlawful protest rally. Hunt shared the details of his uncomfortable overnight stay at Custody Suites and the stipulations of his bail.
Well, all I can say is it wasn't fun, but considering I knew that there were people who were trying to get me to stay there for 3 days before I was processed, I'm happy that my lawyers and so on and public pressure seem to have gotten them to relent a bit. I've just come from paying my bail and resurrendering my travel documents. It feels strange to be treated like a criminal for going around the island. It's a new feeling, knowing that I have to go to Rosalie to sign in every Wednesday and I have my passport and all of these things that have to be surrendered. But like I said, no matter what happens, I have to, at this point, I still have to just focus on the fact that I have to make sure that even if I'm not it's happened to other people before, I can't let it happen to any other solutions.
He believes his arrest is not an isolated incident, but part of a bigger scheme to silence the media and those who choose to oppose the ideologies of the current administration.
I know that when I go into a crowd, I might be polarizing, I might be somebody that people look to, whether it's for leadership or for clarification on things, and I will communicate information when I get it. But my main objective was to cover what was going on for content. And yes, I do have my political and other interests, but I can tell you in all the years that I've been involved in politics from birth, on Sunday was the most genuine expression that I've ever seen. Both parties had something, one in Marigot, the Labour Party, and the UWP had something in Rosalie. This was not a party thing, and it was not organized by me. And even what was the most amazing was I saw people mobilize and do their thing, and all I did was just follow. And I couldn't do anything more even if I wanted to because it was organic. And if they can't see that truth, then there's a major rude awakening coming.
He believes that law enforcement is choosing to respond to some areas of non-compliance while seemingly turning a blind eye to other occurrences.
There is a glaring double standard that is showing. Prime Minister can trips all around with police escort all through Oleor. No social distancing. He can go around and shake people's hands and talk in people's faces. He himself has been COVID tested only once. He might not know whether he's asymptomatic. He has chided the public for telling them don't be selfish, pretend like everybody else has it. And the glaring double standard, which everybody seems to be endorsing, whether it is the medical fraternity, the Chamber of Commerce, and so on, people are seeing the poor leadership by example. Now, with regard to me or what I'm doing or what others are doing, the question is, at what point is he ever going to be held accountable?
Hunt is scheduled to appear in court next month. Jacko Wooding, Hot 7 News.
Following the arrest of TV personality Christopher Hunt over the weekend, all eyes have been on the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, questioning who gave the order to make that arrest. Well, on Tuesday afternoon, Acting Commissioner of Police Milton Daisy answers that question and clears the air on the matter. With the continued drama surrounding the arrest of TV personality Christopher Hunt for taking part in a motorcade on Sunday, the island's top cop has opened up about the role that the Royal St. Lucia Police Force truly played on the fateful day. Acting Commissioner Milton Dacey, whilst appearing as a guest on the NTN Live Midday Update with the Royal St. Lucia Police Force program, said all is not as it seems on the matter.
Unlike what we see flying in Facebook where persons were directed to arrest certain individuals, that is not so. And we only arrest persons who has breached the law. And that is what I don't think any politician need to tell me that. From the time I am 35, almost 36 years service in the force. So I know who to arrest, who not to arrest, based on if they have breached the law.
As was stated in a press release by the RSLPF on Monday, June 15th, there was no application for permission to host the protest. However, DCP Dacey said in any other case, the response would not have been favorable.
There was no application for that event, actually up to the last working day before the Sunday, that was around 4 p.m. When I left office. There's nothing that had come to the Commissioner's office requesting permission. However, I must also indicate that even if permission, that request came, it may not have been granted simply because because of the emergency powers COVID-19 law, that the Commissioner would not be in a position to grant permission for those events.
DCP Dacey explained that it was for the same reason that the permission application for a Black Lives Matter protest, which occurred on Friday, June 12th, was denied. He asked for clear understanding of the constraints that the force faces.
The police commissioner is not whether the commissioner wants to do it or not. In fact, let me put it straight. If I did it, I would be acting against the law. So I do not want to act against any law, so it will not be done. And I need persons to know that going forward. It is just what the law requires, that you need to get permission from the commissioner. However, the commissioner is not in a position now to give any permission. Now, if you do it on your own or you go contrary to whatever law, there are certain actions that the police has to take, and these actions are specified under the Public Order Act.
When asked about the heavy presence by the police who were dressed in their fatigues and carried heavy ammunition, DCP Dacey reminded the public that the protest was illegal and that the police were present to prevent it. He indicated that there were strong methods that could have been used by the officers present. However, a calmer approach was taken, a decision which he praised. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez. The ever-outspoken Christopher Hunt is speaking out against the social media conduct of self-acclaimed Super Political Action Committee group, United PAC. Hunt questions why the government would allow an entity so closely associated with their public relation efforts to release such to social media. On the other hand, Minister Guy Joseph responded to these concerns and the rumored endorsement of United PAC by the United Workers' Party.
As per their Facebook page, United PAC is a super political action committee group whose philosophies and ideologies are in line with conservative values. The group was formed soon after the 2011 general elections and has been quite active on social media, currently manning pages on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. The organization has been linked to several virtual attacks on public figures and the release of content indistinguishable from cyberbullying. TV personality Christopher Hunt claims that the United PAC is a prominent organ of the current administration and questions why the government would associate with or endorse such behavior.
The funny thing about United PAC, which nobody wants to point to, is that United PAC is the official organ, the media organ of the United Workers' Party. The head of the United Workers' Party is Prime Minister Alan Shasney. That means when they attack public servants, they publish their names. When they publish the emails of former Prime Ministers like Kenny Anthony or priests like Father McMurray, that means that Alan Shasney, as Prime Minister of St. Lucia and leader of the United Workers' Party, endorses all of that. I just find that they're not very creative. I don't know if it's because they have too many bobolas in their camp, that they just basically do not know how to even make the things funny or how to make them interesting. But the other thing too is that as long as you know that you are living your life in a particular way, I mean, they can try to attack you, but things don't stick.
When these concerns were raised to Minister Guy Joseph, he deemed such to be part of the political game. According to Joseph, he is a poster child for being victim to such attacks.
You will not see me involved in any of these things, but when it comes to, if you want to talk about people's personal information, I don't think there's any other politician more personal information has been put out about than I have been. I think in every way, my brothers, my sisters, my mother, you name them, have been brought into the fray of politics. I'm the politician. I always tell them, I can handle myself. I can deal with the issues. I can take blows and I can give blows. But at the end of the day, my wife, everybody that pertains to me, has been targeted.
Joseph underscored that the political arena is not a place for the thin-skinned.
You see the postings and you see everything. When people get a dose of their own medicine, they cry. They are the ones who come back and they say, oh, that should not happen and that should happen. But if you're out there giving people blows every day, you expect to take blows. So I give blows, I expect to take blows.
He says at the end of the day, one's decision to throw their hat into the political arena is a matter of choice, and one ought to weigh the pros and cons before stepping in. Jacques Wooding, Hot 7 News.
Speaking of the government, on June 16, 2020, the government of St. Lucia launched its very own digital media integrated services platform aimed to provide virtual access to a variety of public sector services. Director of Public Sector Modernization, Marlon Narcis, spoke to reporters on this development and its applications to easing the tensions of accessing public sector services.
DigiGov is a web-based platform that makes it easier and more convenient for people, businesses, and other governments to digitally submit applications and make payments to 154 of St. Lucia's public services. It is a one-stop government shop for information and public services across 8 ministries and 13 government agencies. This project is sponsored by the government of St. Lucia through the Department of Public Service in an effort to enhance service delivery to citizens, residents, businesses, visitors, and investors. Director of Public Sector Modernization, Marlon Narcis, spoke to the importance of such an initiative.
This is actually taking St. Lucia to the next stage in its development. This is the start of a digital transformation journey where we're going to be implementing 154 services in the next 2 years.
Narcis says during the implementation, priority was given to retraining the existing human resource of the agencies involved.
The DigiGov platform will make applying for the driver's license in the first instance a very, very efficient process. We have redefined the processes completely, and the speed of delivery would be, second to none. Actually, once you apply for your you can actually apply for your driver's license 3 months in advance of the expiry date.
He boasts the expected efficiency of this platform in ensuring smooth processing of public sector services at the convenience of consumers.
We have focused heavily on training and retraining and reskilling of the staff at the Transport Department. So the intention is to have persons redeployed in new roles at the department. So we now have something called a service bureau agent, where that individual will be able to assist persons who walk into transport to apply for the service, as well as online help facilities for persons can, if they encounter any issues online, can also get that assistance from the transport staff.
DigiGov will go live on June 25th, allowing members of the public to renew and replace their driver's licenses through the platform. Additional services will be added over a period of 2 years. Jacques Wooding, Hot 7 News.
We're due for a break, but when we come back, 3 young men are caught trying to smuggle contraband into the Bordelais Correctional Facility. Guy Joseph says the UWP is ready for the next elections, and the future of cannabis in St. Lucia looks bright.